There's a documentary that aired. This pictures of Tori Chrisman, an ex-Scientologist, called "Going Clear." The documentary is called "Going Clear," and they had on these people um, that were talking about OT3 when they first read OT3, which is the story about Xenu and the intergalactic space audit and the dead space aliens and all that kind of stuff. And they said they were shocked by it. They thought maybe it was a sanity test. They had no idea. The only problem with that is that in the history of man and all this stuff, like Science of Survival or any of the L. Ron Hubbard lectures you can listen to that are all pre-clear stuff. I mean, peppered throughout, I would urge people to read the actual Scientology documents because there's space aliens all throughout this stuff. And even the stuff that's past clear, that's before OT3, it's all, I mean, there's space aliens throughout the whole thing. The guy Steve Fishman, who is not OT3, this guy's, you can look it up, just look up Steve Fishman. He's a total misogynist, sociopath, real bad news guy. But they have him talking, he seems delusional. They have him talking for about 3.5 hours when he was interviewed in the 80s. And he regurgitates all the Scientology stuff. And I don't even know if he's a clear. He might be a clear. But about Mars and Venus and the rerouting station on Mars, after you die and you get reincarnated back here, how there's implants and they erase your memory and all that kind of stuff. Another thing is these people like Marty Rathbun, Mike Rinder, who get out of Scientology and talk about the abuse. These were the people who were doing the abuses. These were the abusers. Now, John Atack, who's an ex-Scientologist who wrote A Piece of Blue Sky, mentions that the most arrogant people, the study done that, are ex-Scientologists, not even current Scientologists, but ex-Scientologists, are really arrogant. I'll put a link to this lecture where he talks about that, and you'll get this attitude from ex-Scientologists. I mean, if you listen to Marty Rathbun talk about when the Squirrel Busters came to his house, CBC interviewed him and said, "Well, doesn't this make you feel about how when you were abusing people?" And he just dismisses it. He's like, "Well, I knew it was wrong at the time. I don't have time to think about that. There's no remorse." Same thing with Mike Rinder. Paul Haggis is another one. I mean, these people who were in, there's a slave camp working for all these celebrities. So the celebrities who got out, even like Leah Remini, I mean, when she was interviewed by John Sweeney of the BBC, I thought Nuremberg made it clear that you can't just say, "Well, I was given orders. We were told to do this, or we didn't know any better." When you're abusing people and you're turning a blind eye, or you're even encouraging slavery and human trafficking, you can't just, as soon as you get out, say, "Oh, well, it's just because, I was stuck in that system." Yeah, that may be, but there's no contrition afterwards. It's very odd. So I just wanted to bring up those two things. If anybody has anything to say about Scientology or Anonymous or Going Clear, just leave a comment, or I don't know.